So what adjustments have you had to make regarding balancing opposing sides of an issue in your marriage? And I want each of you all to, come up with your own.
I would say.
Before you start, if this conversation is very interesting for you all, please like and subscribe and put some comments in there. Like, what are some of the areas that you've had to balance in your relationship? And back to you.
I guess for me, I would say the individuality was a big one, because I didn't come into the relationship with children. The way I lived my life prior to our relationship was all about me. I'm also the baby of my family. And so, because of all of those things, I have had to try and balance what it meant for me to be a wife and a mom and be present in that space, but still have things that are me, that are solely me. So I look at those things as like my business is something that allows me to have still a sense of individuality. And that's kind of where I've focused my individuality and like really had us to have strong conversations about, no, I don't want your help with this because it's me. And this is just what I'm doing. And I don't want collaboration necessarily in this area. Because my collaboration, my family life is the collaboration. In everything that we're doing together with each other or, with the kids. So that's been a big thing for me to kind of have to try and find some balance, is what is appropriate individual time. And what's appropriate individual decision making as well. And then what do I need to also bring into the fold of, I have a partner here that's with me that needs and seeks collaboration. And that is what we are in this marriage to do, is to pursue goals together. And so how do I, what kind of do I compartmentalize as what is me individually? That's something socially, like I'm a social individual. And I'm still trying to find balance in that area. But, just those individual interests, what do I still do to fuel myself? And then what things do I need to also, bring into the fold of my family and my partner?
You said a whole lot.
He did. I got a quick question. You said appropriate decision making. Is that only in your businesses or just in everything?
It's in everything. Like the decisions that we make as a family, decisions that we make, for events and with our time, it's still an area where I'm improving on every day, because sometimes I may think, oh, I just need to, move forward with this. And I forget that I need to have a conversation, and then it could create a problem or it could create an issue. So it's still an area where, finding that balance where, this is solely something that you can make a decision on yourself. Like, what's the price that you're going to charge for a makeup service? But I can't decide that I'm going to go do that makeup gig without having a conversation first with my husband to see, does that fit into our schedule for the day? Will I have proper childcare, for the family? What does that look like, for my time away from the house doing those individual things? It can still affect, the family.
Did the individuality, and there's so many more questions I want to ask, but just before I jump into the questions I want to ask, did the individuality that you were trying to balance, how did that come into play when you started having children? Because y'all been married 3 years and you have 2 kids. Y'all busy. so like how did the individuality, or maybe there was something other thing that you try to balance when it comes to having kids, and then being mom, being business owner, being employee, being wife, and being.
They have 4 kids.
What'd I say?
2.
I mean, you birthed 2 kids.
Yes.
Right. And so.
But the other one's calling her mom. So.
I know that.
They are my babies too.
See, exactly. They got 4.
I wasn't saying it like they're not.
I know.
I was
just saying
now that I have biological
because there's
children.
a significant difference.
In 3 years, you birthed 2 children.
I get what you're saying.
Which the load is a lot heavier, because you said y'all's oldest is 13.
About
12 and 10. Yeah, about 12 and 10.
Wow.
So
much.
So the lift is different.
Yeah.
But 2 newborns in 3 years. That's what I was speaking to. So,
That
and
is
then
a
there's a level of individuality, since you mentioned that you had prior to, like, so I guess my question was, is that, how did that come into play? The balancing of individuality with new moms
I think
to
I
newborns.
have learned the harder lessons once becoming a biological parent than before. Because, you know, if you're breastfeeding, that's, your body is not your own still, even after you have the baby. So that individual part of me where I can move and do what I want, I can't necessarily do that because, you know, that's just one of the things I have to keep my mind on. When does the baby need to eat? What do I need to eat so that my body is producing what the baby needs to be? So there's a lot of decisions that are like, I can't make an individual decision on a lot of things, but that started to develop more intensely when becoming a biological mom.
What was the issue? Well, you talked about the issues, but how did it become a problem?
Or do you see it as a problem?
The problem with me being able to balance individuality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
That's a good question. Like, did you see it as a problem? Because it may have just been an issue you had to deal with and not necessarily a problem.
Yeah, I think it was just an issue I had to deal with, an adjustment that had to be made. I don't necessarily see it as a problem because I see that my role in their lives is a blessing.
Yeah.
And so I can never look at that as a problem because it's also a choice that we made, you know, to have them. So it's not a problem. It's just adjustments to be mindful of.
And so I respect everything that you just said, and I appreciate that. The reason why I wanted to throw in that nuance is because I think that it is important to discuss both sides of it, right? The husband and the wife, because I definitely see it as a problem. And
I was going to swing it your way to see if what she experienced as an issue, did you experience that as a problem?
Absolutely.
Okay. Speak on it.
Absolutely.
What was the problem?
Well, so the reason why I see it as a problem is because, again, I was previously married, right? And so one, in that I have a certain level of experience. However, I'm able to say that now I can understand that all credits that you've obtained from previous classes are not necessarily transferable.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. But what I can see though is that, because again, with what you were saying about the 2 versus the 4, her actually having 2 biological children, she's now experiencing body change, identity change, you know, certain realizations. But the problem comes in me being able to already have the understanding and the foresight that those things are happening. But because she's going through it and she still has area for improvement as it pertains to communication, she's not communicating those things, right? And so that's the problem. Like, kind of like where Tavia would say, like, I'm gonna keep my head down. This is just something that I have to deal with. But where is the relational, marital aspect of the time that it takes for you to then focus on not only yourself, which you have every right to, but now you focusing on the kids. Now, you know what I mean? And so, like, where in that pie, what slice is for our marriage?
If you want to see another clip of this episode, click right here. If you want to see another video about relationship topics, click right here.